man, I didn't grab a drink. Welcome to Kidmin Backstage, the place where we talk about kids ministry and take a peek behind the scenes. We try to share a little bit of what we've learned that works for us and some of our failures so you can avoid them. We release a new episode every Friday, and this is your Backstage Pass to see the magic or disaster that happens behind the scenes of our kids ministry. I'm your host, Gabe Baker, and today I am joined by Brother Myles Story. How's it going?
It's going good. Thank you for having me again.
Yes, glad you made it.
Yeah.
We had a little miscommunication in the text, and
yeah,
I was like, it's not like Myles. I mean, it was only 4 minutes, but I was like, it's not like Myles is not texting.
No,
He's running late.
This is the. I know at least everybody's done this at least once, if not multiple times. But I misread the text. I'm like, I thought it said tomorrow night, not tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. I'll do this, that, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, where are you? I'm like, wait. Oh man, I did it again.
Oh well, we made it.
Yep.
I had left everything. Normally I clean up, and so I had left everything, and so I had plenty to do. And it's still not done, in fact, so it was fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about the easy button.
The easy button. So do you remember Staples had that?
Yes.
Do they still do that at all?
I don't know, but like I did come across the other day at work. I was in a big general foreman meeting, and one of the superintendents had gotten, it was like that easy button, but he had recorded the head superintendent over the whole company's voice on it.
Oh, that's so cool.
So
what did you say, that was easy or whatever?
I don't remember
what they did. Isn't that what they
it
used to say?
That was easy.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the button said, but it was basically in lieu of, I think the big boss guy wasn't there, so like he had to just, so we could hear his voice.
Oh, okay. Like,
he hit it a couple of times throughout the meeting.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just remember, and you could get like the button, and it was like, I think it was red with a yellow, or I mean a white easy on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So the easy button. So I had this thought the other day, and so we could chase simplicity, and we think that it will make things easier. And, you know, everybody wants a clear plan, straightforward system, step by step, ABC 1, 2, 3, show me how. You know, everybody wants that. And it removes confusion and everything. And so I had this thought that simplicity can and should provide clarity.
Yeah.
Like, it you know, because if something's too complex, then people's eyes begin to glaze over and they just don't get it, right? And so it should give us clarity, but simplicity doesn't always mean easy.
No.
So sometimes something is very simple. In fact, I would dare to say that most truths in life are simple. They're not super complex. They're simple, but they're hard. You know, they're not always easy, and so they're simple, and they're not super complex, but they're doesn't make them easy. And so that's, I think, where I wrote that most of us get stuck is we don't understand what to do, but it's the consistency of executing something, knowing that, hey, this works, like this line or this direction, this avenue, it works. It's proven. Track record, like I think of weight loss or something like that.
Yeah.
It's proven that this works. You eat right and you exercise and you're going to get in shape. But that doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it's not easy. And so that's, I think if we could get that understanding, it would totally be a game changer. That's something where if like for me, just personally, I guess this podcast is to me, but if I could just get like, okay, look, make it simple to where it's very clear. And, you know, to bring this into context of kids ministry, I think of like Sunday school goals and even like systems and things that we know work. You know, even the fun stuff, the skits and whatever, you know, but we know that it works. The capturing, you know, like kids' attention, like, okay, here's something that's counterintuitive, and I'll shut up here in a second, but here's something that's counterintuitive. I think that actually some of the fun stuff, like the goofiness and all of that, as long as there's a clear direction or it's somewhat structured and you're not just doing it just to be goofy, that actually can be by design and capture the kids' attention and eliminate or at least mitigate many discipline issues.
Yeah. I think
you have their attention, you know.
Yeah, I think a good example is, now when this podcast goes out, it'll be a little bit old, but what was posted on our, did you see the clip of the Instagram for the Sunday school?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So my son, he wanted me to play that thing over and over again about 3 or 4 different times because he loved all the
awesome.
acting and stuff. And because we made it simplistic, we made it a little more simplistic this time. I mean, we've done the 3 Hebrew children. I can't tell you how many times we've done that. I mean, we've done that 50 million times.
In practice, I joked. I said, we're going to do a new story today, new Bible story.
Yeah. But like we simplified it. We broke it down. Like we didn't have quite as many staff as like we would normally have for it. But what we did is, by simplifying it, we got some children more involved.
Yes.
And by getting them more involved, there was a little more giggling, there's a little more laughter, but we were able to grasp their attention and remove some of the distractions from everything else. Like our statue of Nebuchadnezzar was the Tower of Stuff, and we had a teddy bear on top of it with a little crown on it.
Yeah, it was a ladder with some cloth around it and then a teddy bear. Yeah. And a crown, right?
Like
propped on it.
Propped on it. But I mean, because we did remove some of those distractions out of the way of, okay, here are all the actors, instead of, there's my friend up on stage.
Yes.
And I'm like ever so shocked how much some of those kids, they love the story. They bring out, they kind of they make it a little goofy, and they bring so much more sometimes life and energy into that story. It's super cool. If you haven't done and gotten some of your kids involved, try to do it. It may be a mess, it may be a disaster, it may be a success story, but hey, guess what?
They'll love it.
You'll love it. Yeah. It'll be organized chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the thing is like, when we do that, rarely are we doing any kind of practice or anything. We're throwing them up there. Like, those kids got to go backstage and get costumes on, which was really neat. But that was like during Sunday school, like during Prayer Request or whatever, they were going back and getting dressed up. And so, it's bound to be a little bit chaotic. But like you said, now poor Johnny, we always talk about Johnny, but now Johnny doesn't want to poke his neighbor or mess with him because he wants to see what's going on on stage with his friends, or other kids. Yeah, that was good. It was good. We had who was Brother Keach, and I watched the video and I didn't notice this. I don't know why I didn't notice this live, but King got, because we kind of mix, it's our news theme, and so we were mixing. We had, we're reporting live, quote unquote, reporting live. So we had our modern news character, or 40s, whatever, news characters in there, and then the Bible times. But Brother Keach is King Nebuchadnezzar, and he's dressed in, he's got a royal robe, crown, everything, and sunglasses.
The sunglasses, what I loved. It was awesome.
I didn't even notice. I don't know why, but in the video I was like,
it was hilarious.
Yeah, so he had sunglasses on. That was it was so much fun.
It was definitely one of those top 5 moments.
Yeah. Well, okay, so coming back to our notes, clarity creates direction. When something is simple and we understand what actually matters, then we have a few bullets here, but define the real objective. So when you can clearly state, this is what a successful Sunday looks like. And I think that obviously, okay, so Brother Philip Booker and I have talked about this before, about a lot of conferences, and this is a great measuring tool. But a lot of times people at a conference or a church service or a Sunday school, or a kids rally or whatever, how many people got the Holy Ghost? It is a great tool. It's a great measuring tool, but it's not the only one. And so that's something that we have discussed before, is it's not the only measuring tool. And so we often will say, we say everything points at the altar, but what success looks like, I guess that we could better articulate that for our Sunday school is it's not just a fantastic altar call. Yes, that is what we're pointing at. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
But really, we can come away. I think that sometimes, oh boy, I keep on interrupting myself. I get all these rabbit trail thoughts. I think sometimes we can look at, like, oh, today was rough, because the kids is like, oh my goodness. And I always say, well, we can't control the kids, we can control us. And what we do can have an impact on how the kids react, But I think that sometimes our success or definition of success might be skewed by, oh, today was a good Sunday because the kids were well behaved or something, right? But really, I don't think that is some barometer, but it's not really what it's all about. Is how engaged were they? Do they walk away like, oh, that was awesome, or even saying the memory verse because we did something funny, or talking about the story, or like you said, your son, of course, he's way too young to be in Sunday school, but wanting to watch the video over and over and over.
Yeah.
Things like that. To be able to point at and articulate it, I guess, and say, this is what success looks like. Then it brings clarity. And again, going back to our easy button analogy, it doesn't mean it's easy, but now it brings clarity that, hey, it's simple. You don't have to be over the top in every single area, but this is what success looks like.
I 100% agree. And if I could add to something that I've been kind of a takeaway for me is sometimes I have to step back from the Sunday and take a couple of days to look at it.
Yeah.
And then also like take a look at it, not just as a one Sunday. Yes, we want to take a look. Okay, this is an ideal Sunday, but sometimes, okay, look, what is the success in that children's life? Because over process and over time, I've been up here for several years now.
Right.
Like we have small group for our snacks, and that's when we're more of a one-on-one with the teachers and the kids.
Yes.
And it has surprised me, some of the kids over time. Like I asked them, like, okay, what's the memory verse? And I mean, you could hear a pin drop. None of them could tell me the memory verse, or none of them could really tell me any details about the Bible story or anything like that. But as I've watched and I've stepped back, and over time, it's just been a gradual process of like, now it's the point where instead of only one or two kids knowing the memory verse, now it's 50% of the group.
Yeah.
It's getting better. And it's not just, and it's even to the point now where some of our visitor kids, that they are starting to now pipe up more with the memory verse. And
that shows that it's a culture.
It's slowly getting into their heart. And that's like, as much as like, yes, we want our kids to be saved. Yes, like we want all that. But like when we see those kids that their parents have no influence on them at all, like that see that the wheels start turning and they're starting to get a little more involved in Sunday school. That's to me, that's successful.
It's really neat to be able to see, so much of what we do is not quantifiable. So it's really neat to have those small measurements of success.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, we hit the mark there. Because and that's what I guess when I go back to like Brother Booker and I talking about that is, it's super easy to check the box.
Yes.
They spoke in tongues, they got the Holy Ghost. Or actually when he got baptized in Jesus' name, we check that box. And I am not downplaying that at all, because that's like the ultimate, that's the pinnacle, that's the goal.
Yeah.
But there's other things where we can check the box, and then there's so many things that you can't check a box
exactly
until like 10 years from now.
Agreed.
Yes. So there's so many things that we don't see, and that's where I talk about, I don't want to get off track, but that's where I talk about we have to enjoy or have passion in what we do, and not just do it for the check marks and like, okay, we accomplished, because we just have to know I am on the right path, and this is what we do day in, day out, and that's the joy. Okay, so this is something I wrote this down because this is, like I said, this podcast is for me, but build a system that you can explain in one breath. So like the elevator pitch, right? And so, and I thought about this, and this is at me, but if you can't explain it simply, then your team can't execute it consistently. And so I thought, I mentioned, you and I were just talking recently about training. And so we're going to implement some training, and some of it's legalese stuff, but I also want to do some training, like skills training and stuff. And so we're doing that with a couple of people. There's a couple of people in the staff that we're doing that more, I guess, organically. But it is still being somewhat structured and designed, but it's more of a what do you call it, like a mentorship idea. It's kind of in that line. And so, but I'd like to do it more shorter, but a classroom style, like, okay, we're going to learn this. Anyway, coming back to this, build a system you can explain in one breath. That's where I'd like this training to be like everybody that has gone through our Kidmin training has a clear direction. Again, it doesn't mean it's simple, or it doesn't mean it's easy, but it is simple. It is clear and clarified. Like, this is what we do every Sunday. This is the path that we take. And there's sometimes our staff is not on point as much as other Sundays, but there's sometimes when, I don't know if it's the moon or what, but there's sometimes when the kids are just, it's crazy. Yeah. And so, and when they are, I think we should examine ourselves and say, okay, was there something, could we have done something? But also we just have to know, like, okay, we did our job. Because we hit all the marks? And then sometimes like, oh, well, actually, no. That transition was too long. And that lended to them being, crazy and out of line and stuff, Yeah. And so we have to look at those things. But, build that system that you can explain in one breath.
I can take some of that and apply it to myself in a different aspect. Oh, I'll admit, I've been failing this one in having to do in another area of working with more young people in the teenage groups. I've been explaining games, and I'm like, I need to practice explaining games.
Yeah. Hey, it is an art.
It's an art. It's art. Something that I need to work on myself. So that hit guilty.
Yes. This is going to be a podcast, so I'm giving something away, but I think it was Albert Einstein said something about, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, then you don't understand it well enough yourself.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard the whole concept of you really understand something when you have the ability to teach it to somebody else.
Yes. And I think that when you, I've experienced this many times in business and even in Sunday school, but like when you, okay, here's I think a good example is my daughter. She's been driving for several years now, but when she was learning to drive, and so she was older than my son, so the first time I was like teaching somebody to drive. When you've been driving for years. Yeah. You get all kinds of habits, good and bad. But you get all kinds of habits. And so there's things that you do, like let's think of the good ones. There's things that you do that are just second nature. You don't even think about it, but you know that that's like the right thing to do. That's that's just what you do. I've dealt with this like even in like with my son, teaching him construction stuff, and I'm just like, and he's observant, so he'll be like, well, why did you do that? So he'll call me out, and I'm like, oh, well, this is why, Yeah. But anyway, so I remember trying to teach my daughter to drive and trying to go through every step of why I do stuff. And so it's so much forgotten, that's good habits, but it makes you think through the steps. And then coming back to our outline here, it makes you simplify it. Yeah. Because it's like, okay, I do, I get in the car, start it, and I start driving, and I do, I don't know, 15 things, all in the span of 2 seconds. Yeah. Anybody does that's been driving, and I'm just making up numbers, but it's a lot. Yeah. And you're doing all these different things. And so then walking through each of those, and I remember when I learned to drive in a stick shift. Same. Yeah. We walked out of the driver's ed place where I got my permit, and my dad was like, where are you going? Because I was going to the passenger side. I drove from the permit place, and I hadn't, many of these kids, drive with their friends or something before they ever, I hadn't. Like one time, my cousin or something, and I almost wrecked the car. Oh boy. So, well, that's another story, but my cousin I can't remember, she had asked me to pull the car up or something. Well, it was a stick shift.
Oh boy.
And I guess she just assumed I knew. And so it's in gear, right? Because you usually park a stick shift in gear.
Yeah, you just leave it. You kill in gear.
So I started it, and it took off.
Oh my!
It took off like just a couple feet, and died.
But it
scared the living daylights out of me.
Oh, I know.
Oh man, yeah,
yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, like going back to what you said, when you start to teach something, you have to make it simple, because otherwise, you realize, okay, this is super complex. I gotta boil this down to here's why I do this.
Yeah. And I know we're getting very long-winded already,
yeah.
But there's something that I wanted to bring up that like just alarms. So something as simple as the plan of salvation.
Yes.
Like, I know how to explain it to adults. I know how to explain it left, right, up, down, all 6 different ways. But when it comes to kids, like, you don't want to say it the exact same way every single time. But like, so you have to change it up every single week just to change a little bit. But you also want to make sure that you're still keeping everything right.
Yeah, you don't dilute the message.
Yes, exactly. So that one right there was a perfect example.
Yeah,
of what we're just talking about.
Yeah, Can you explain the plan of salvation to a 6-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a challenge right there.
Yeah,
that'd be a good workshop. Just that. I mean, yeah, it sounds easy, we know, but like, really, if you think of like a Bible study,
mm-hmm.
the new birth or whatever, and doing a Bible study, can you do that for a 6-year-old? Can you do that?
Exactly.
And keep in mind, you have to, I don't want to say dumb it down, but you have to make it simple.
Yeah,
you have to make it simple enough for a 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
But keep in mind that a 6-year-old's attention span is much shorter.
Yeah, definitely much shorter.
So can you explain it to a 6-year-old in 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Because that's what we try to do is our short segments. Okay, so another note is execution is still hard. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but when you do make something simple, it exposes the work that has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, it's kind of funny. We were talking about just recently, somebody was asking me about our fireworks, because we do big fireworks fundraisers and stuff. And so I was like, yeah, we had a meeting, and I said we had a meeting like a month ago or more, and it was already kind of late,
Mm-hmm.
And so I started explaining all the process that goes into it. I mean, it starts months before the season. There's a whole process, and of course we have done a big event at the same time. And so anyway, there's so much that goes into it. Well, we have some new people that are going to be involved and everything. And so I'm trying to basically kind of do what we just talked about. I'm trying to backtrack and list it, like on paper, like, okay, here is all the steps, because there's some of these people don't have any idea, like the things I just don't even think about.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we got to set up shelves over there. Well, they don't know that. Where are the shelves? Oh, they're over in the storage.
They're storage.
Yeah.
And then,
What storage?
Oh, wait a second. We got half of them over there, and then half of them over there, and then
one. Yeah, exactly. And like, oh, you need a key to the storage. Okay, So just every detail, it's crazy. And so, but then when you start doing that, this thing about simple exposes the work, you start doing that, and it's like, oh my goodness, this is so much work to do. And so you start to realize that simple does not mean easy.
No.
It just means we want to make the path or the mileposts, as simple as possible, as easy to see as possible. But it doesn't mean that getting from point A to point B is going to be easy.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then this next one, consistency beats complexity.
Oh, yes.
This is huge. I think that okay, I'm gonna rant a little bit here. I think that sometimes we can, as adults, as Sunday school leaders, and then I'm going to even branch out, just say in ministry, I think that we can hide behind complexity. What I mean by that is I think that so you don't really know. I mean, you've done it a couple times. I remember I showed you some things, but you don't know much about QLab, which is what we run our tracks on.
I know just enough that I realize I know nothing.
Right. Okay. So you don't really know much about QLab. So you could probably run it during a Sunday school or something, but programming it and putting in some cool fades and sound effects and all that.
Times and
this, all that.
Nope.
And so, so I could, by knowing that most people don't know that, I could hide behind the complexity of that and say, well, it's really difficult. And here's where I could be lazy. And I think this, I'm using myself, but I think this happens all the time. I could be lazy and not do, in fact, I am sometimes. I'm not really in charge of QLab all the way, but I could be lazy and say, I'm not going to, or not say, but just not put in all the effort, because you can make it awesome. You could do some really neat things.
Yeah.
And like every little scene, you could have changes in the tracks and different volumes and the way it fades and all that, but it takes some work.
Yeah.
And then there's other ways where you can do it kind of more manual, and it works. It's fine. And most people, especially kids, are not going to even notice the difference. But I could hide behind the complexity, knowing that most people don't know that, and I know it. And so I can do a subpar job because I'm hiding behind the complexity of it. Whereas when you make it simple and somebody starts looking over your shoulder and you start showing them what all the steps are, then it exposes your subparness, if that's a word.
It shows. I just want to let me make sure I'm getting it. It shows that you're really not putting forth all the effort all the time.
Yes. They can discover, like, oh, so you could do this. And they're like, well, can we look at last week? And you're like, well, let's not, because we didn't do that last week. And so I think that, oh man, I think that when you really start to simplify, and most things, when you start to reverse engineer it, a lot of these things are not so complex. Now, obviously, there's bigger learning curves on different things, especially if you think of technology, AI, all these different things. There's a learning curve. But if you reverse engineer it and you take the time and you start to get it, it's simple steps. It's just that this thing might take 100 simple steps and this one might take 1,000. Yeah. And this one that takes 1,000, it seems so hard. But if you back it up and say this step, this step, this step, you can go through. And so, I think that we often, I'm afraid, myself included, that we can hide behind something that seems complex. We can hide behind the technicalities of something when we should be giving it our all, and it would make us even better, at that task or skill.
That's very good.
Okay, we're running out of time, but strong leaders embrace the tension. Now, so you don't confuse clarity with comfort. And so here is kind of the whole key. And let's go back to like the fitness analogy, just because it works. So communicating clearly, like if you ever, I don't think I've ever had a trainer after shows, but if you had like a fitness trainer that's any good, they're going to give you, like any kind of trainer, anything, they're going to give you their advice and maybe even a plan, ABC 1, 2, 3 plan. And usually it's not that difficult. I mean, okay, you think about it. If you decide, okay, I'm going to get in shape, whether that's lose weight, build muscle, whatever it is, I'm going to get in shape. And a lot of people that are really serious about that, they hire a trainer. Yeah, they do. And I think, and that's all fine and dandy, and maybe I'll do that one day. I don't know, tomorrow, next week. But here's the thing: is that trainer, for the most part, I know there's some science and all that stuff. For the most part, that trainer's going to tell you what you already know.
Yeah.
Eat right, exercise, get rest, and drink a lot of water. Whatever. And then there's little nuances like, oh, let's do this diet, and eat all these carbs.
Stop eating them more likely.
Yeah. But, so there's all kinds of different things that people might say. But for the most part, if you want to do well financially, there's some pretty simple rules,
Just stop spending more than you got.
Stop spending more than you make. Yeah. And so, and it's simple. But when you wake up at 5 a.m. and you're like, oh yeah, I was going to go to the gym today. It's not easy.
Yeah.
There's no easy button for that. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Agreed.
At all. And so I think that's where, if you're a strong leader in ministry, if you're leading a kids ministry, or even just if you're staff, or any kind of ministry for that matter, that as a leader, we have to embrace that.
Yeah.
That I like to say dichotomy, that yin and yang. We have to embrace the simplicity and yet the difficulty. We take the complex out.
Yeah.
But the simplicity and the difficulty, and we embrace that, and we say, okay, we have boiled it down. Here's the path. All right, let's just get it done.
Yeah.
I've been in the situation before on a job site explaining something that needs to be done that's going to be kind of hard, maybe hard physically, maybe like we got to pick some stuff up.
Yeah.
And I've been around, not a lot, but I've been around a few people. I'm thinking of a young man in mind. I've been around a few people that will waste so much time. Like, well, isn't there an easier way?
Yes.
Could we do it?
Oh,
like,
I've met them. Oh, I've met them.
Maybe, should we build a jig? Should we... And they're waiting, and they're taking 20 minutes to figure something out that takes 5 minutes to do.
I dealt with a situation. Wasn't even in the state, so that really helps everybody out.
Okay.
I was on a job site, and it was going to take us an hour and a half to do it the hard way. Instead, this other guy, he came up with this really easy way to get this done, and it was going to take us about 8.5 hours. I'm like, just send me up there. I'll get it done in an hour and a half, and we'll go on to the next task. But he didn't want to have to work hard. He didn't want to put forth the effort.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to beat my head up against the wall. Oh.
Yeah. Well, and I guess, as we wrap, that's the thing, is like, I guess the advice here is don't be chasing the easy button. And not only that, though, is don't hide behind the complexity. Make it simple. Make it simple, but understand that simple. I mean, the plan of salvation is simple.
Yeah.
But for some people, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's difficult. And so we're not saying it's going to be easy. Man's life is a few days in full trouble.
Yeah.
So
yes.
we're not saying that it's going to be easy, and that's not what we're hunting for. We're not looking for where's the easy button. We're just saying, okay, let's find the simple path, and we know it's difficult. It's an uphill climb, and let's do it.
Let's do it.
Now that we know where to put our steps, let's do it. Let's go get after it.
Yep.
That's a wrap.
This